Hi everybody, welcome to the QB School. I'm JT O'Sullivan and I am fired up for this one. Been waiting a long time to do this video. This is 4 verticals, the concept, X's and O's, deep dive. We are going 5 different NFL organizations, a bunch of different variations how we run it. One of my absolute favorite concepts, put all sorts of stress on a defense. Let's dive into it. Welcome to the QB School. All right, if you dig this kind of content and you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, get the notifications when we go live, when we put out new stuff. I really appreciate the support of the channel. Then you want to get nuts? Get nuts. Join. Get a QB School membership. Get the emojis. Get the badge after your name. The badge changes color the longer you're a member. Come at me in the live streams with the different emojis. Have a great time. Love seeing different ways to support the channel. I appreciate it. Now let's dive into the X's and O's. All right, the first concept we're going to look at is 2-jet all go, fullback pop. Now, really, this is the bread and butter for verticals. We're going to be able to see it right here. I'm going to talk about it, but it's basically 4 go routes is the easiest way to think of it. And mostly when you're going 2x2 here, you really want to just think about these things as being inside out reads. And what I mean by that is you're calling it trying to get the seams. You see these ones right here. These alerts, old school West Coast for pitcher look. You get your shot. You love the matchup out there. You love the corner. He's pressed. There's alert opportunities to take a shot on the outside, but they're calling all go to think we got an opportunity at a seam. And with the Saints, right, the Saints playbook, they used to only have one bender. So you can see here I have the hot highlighted back in my old highlighter days. This is essentially hot right here. So if we were to get 2 on the back, we would then have to be hot out of jet protection. But the essence of this thing is seams. And so you're really looking for a pitcher look, putting a 2-on-1 on one deep defender. So right here, middle field open. First, we'll see middle field open because that's what the drawing is here with these 2 safeties right here. So middle field open, we're going to have the designated bender, which is the Y on this play. He's going to come in and cross the face of that near safety. So here's the safety right here. You're going to get up, threaten him vertically, and then come in here and cross his face. We see that bend versus 2 deep. And so that what that's going to do is going to create a 2-on-1 on that safety. So we're going to get a best release out here on the outside vertical, 5 yards from the sidelines, create that box to be able to drop it in on when you drop it over the top. But really, this is just a 2-on-1 down the field. So 1 is the bender in this offense. 1 just runs a straight vertical on the inside no matter what, is not a bender in this offense. A lot of teams I've seen, over the last few years have gone more to double bender, but it doesn't matter. The essence of this thing, all go, when we play a zone team, is we're putting a 2-on-1 on a safety. And what it's going to be whatever side has the bender. So right here, we're going to get up. We're putting a 2-on-1 on him with the inside seam and the outside go. We can see my notes here. Pre-snap look based on coverage, shell. So that's versus a 2 deep, middle field open. Versus middle field close, we have really specific landmarks. In the league, in New Orleans, it was inside edge of the numbers. The thing about different levels of football is the hash and the numbers move, so you got to find the sweet spot for your level of football. But in essence, middle field closed, what does that mean? 1 safety, 1 free safety in the middle of the field. Now we're putting the 2-on-1 on that middle field safety. So we're going to get right up that dotted line, right up this dotted line right here. We're going to get this vertical going up the seam, both up the inside edge of the numbers in the league. And we can really, now we can start to use our eyes. So 5, a little flash fake is what that means. A little 5 flash fake, no hitch if you can. If it's clean and they don't get rerouted from the underneath coverage, you can come up, flash fake, put it on him, 5, no hitch. And this is a real opportunity to, you just take the free safety wherever he's going. If he's cheating over here, you drop back, come back here, little shoulder shrug this way, come back and rip that. Why? Otherwise, you can just go wherever his technique is taking him. If he's going this way, for whatever reason, you can come back this way, give a little shoulder shrug, pump over here, and come back and rip this thing up and down, right in that sweet spot of the seam. And that's what the seam is really called. But again, you can always have this alert versus a pitcher look on the outside. You love their route, their matchup. You throw it, you got to hit it, have a good percentage. In the league, these are like 42, 44, 46 yards, depending on how fast these guys are out on the perimeter. They can roll now. You get lower levels. It can be a little bit shorter. But the essence of this thing is you get a shot on a seam, whether it's closed by the 2 inside seams or whether it's open. And whether it's open, usually, and when I mean open, I mean cover 2 right now. And so if you get a cover 2 safety, cloud safety, half field safety, you can really go inside out. Been around a bunch of coaches that say pump in, throw outside, for really that whole shot down the field. But for me, if I see open and I can't tell if it's quarters or 2, so if it's straight quarters all the way across the field and it looks like birds on a fence, almost like 0 here, to me, I'm getting the ball to the check down. And to me, this is almost a glorified screen. I love throwing seams versus clean looks. If you see somebody get past that first level or second level defender, these linebacker level, second level defenders, if they get by clean without a reroute, you're going to have a great shot for a clean seam. If for some reason they get jacked and get off their landmark in the league, you come down to the back. It's a check down. You're calling it for a clean seam to the check down. And that's really, very rarely do you see a 2 on a check down, but it's really 1 clean to either seam based on the safety in middle field closed down to the back. If it's open, cloud, you're going to go to the bender side, 1, 2, down to the back, 3. And that's it. That's straight up old school 2x2 4 verticals. I'm very excited about our new sponsor, Team Synced. This is an app that helps engage and empower our athletes. I use this app as kind of the central hub for our football program at Patrick Henry in San Diego. We use it as a communication center to house our schedule, any changes in the daily schedule, all through the app. And it's been a great way for us to be able to centralize our communication system. In fact, with these crazy times where things have been canceled and the uncertainty moving forward, we still communicate through this app. You can see my image here. We've got Zoom workouts that we use during this period to try to get the team together, still have some sort of team interaction, and it's all held together by the foundation of Team Synced. And so it's been a great opportunity for us to use it. Right now, you click on the link in the description of this video, you get free access to it through May. So please go ahead, click the link after the video and get over there, check it out, tell them that the QB School sent you. I appreciate it, and I really can say it's worked wonders for our program, so check it out. The next one is the exact same play, still 2-jet flash, all go, but now it's Ubend. So now it's a different personnel group. The last one was regular and zebra, which is 21 and 11 personnel on the West Coast. This is 12 personnel West Coast, and really all it does when you say Ubend is change the bender. So say we have a better receiving tight end here. We want the U guy to be the bender. Now we see he's got the bend rolls when you only have one guy as the bender. That's another one of the benefits of just having 2 guys bend. I've never seen 2 benders bend into each other before. But if you're only going to have one guy bend, you got to designate who the bender is. You got to have the capacity to go either or on the inside out. And so all this does is change the bender and really where you're going to go on the cloud safety. So if we get middle field open here and we know we got a cloud safety to this side, now it's 1 inside, outside 2, down to the back. And again, you see that the outlet changes from the 1 to 2 depending on what the shell is. So again, the read is always based off the shell. Middle field closed. We're still working those 2, that inside seam, wherever that free safety is going to let us go. If he stays right to the middle, you take your best shot. You can, again, eye manipulate him, do whatever you want to do, eye fake him, give a little baby pump. But again, it's just off that middle field player down to the back. If it's open, cloud, we're going to go bender, outside, down to the back. If it's quarters, you got to love your matchup outside. It's really hard in the league to get a bender versus quarters. You can do it a little bit at lower levels depending on what happens underneath with the reroute. But again, if I see quarters and we have all go called, I'm thinking screen. Get it down to the back as quick as possible, get a completion, live to fight another day. So those were New Orleans. Now we're into Green Bay, and they used to call it same West Coast, but now they called it Aggie instead of All Go. Really in-depth there with the code name, All Go, Aggie, makes sense to me. Eagle, Zebra is 10 and 11 personnel. Spread right's the formation. Again, how important landmarks are in All Go. You're going to try to hit this window, 18 to 22 yards, up and down, edge of the numbers in the league. Again, we can see middle field open. We got one guy who's designated the bender. There he is, middle field open. He bends it inside that safety. They were even more explicit with the 1 to 2. They took the alert off the outside, and it is trying to get the seam 1 inside, 2 outside, down to the back, pop, option route. Again, really simple, easy read. Again, they like to run it with fake. Again, one reason why you like these fash or fakes on draws here is because these linebackers or pounds are going to come up with this draw fake, and it's going to create just a little bit more space right behind him to wrap in that second window, second level throw. But again, the read doesn't change. Closed, we're going inside seams, love an outside matchup. Open, we're working to the bender, inside, out, check down. Again, 5 steps, use your eyes to manipulate zone safeties. Just so you all believe me that these teams all run the similar plays, here's the Minnesota Vikings. I want to say 2005, 2006. Look familiar? Jet, all go. Now a little bit cleaner look here with no defense, but again, the read doesn't change. Simple to see, 4 verticals. How you read 4 verticals. Closed, zone. Okay, middle field player. We're reading the seams. Boom. Open. Now, they don't have any benders on this one. They're just running straight. I'm going to guess both of them were bending. You take your best matchup, best leverage, depending on if you want to throw inside. That's the thing about these cloud safeties. If you get a cover 2, Tampa 2 team, cover 2 team, I've been around coaches that like to throw the outside ball, so they want you into the tightest safety, so you can really pump 1 to get 2 on the outside, especially in the high red zone. And I've been around coaches that only want to throw seams, and so they really want you to be with the widest safety, so you have more room to rip that seam into a cloud safety. So it just depends on what your coach's preference is for reads. But again, it's inside out. Unless you love the matchup outside, closed man. And then again, the thing to learn about this is you can never be wrong throwing this option route to probably one of the most explosive guys on the field. It really just becomes this runoff, kind of clear route, come up and throw a check down. And this is how you take your quarterback into the next level, be able to know when you're going to get a check down before you even get the snap. Quarters, bail, anything where you can't get on top of that corner or that DB, throw it to the check down, live to fight another day. Now we're into the digit system. This is Detroit days for me, Mike Martz. Again, deuce, 12 personnel, Tiger right, funky formation here. Doesn't matter. It's 4 verticals. Now this is a little bit different because now we're into what is really all go special. And what I mean by that is it's still 4 verticals, but now it's at a 3x1, not 2x2. So the beautiful thing about this, the reason I love this play, it's not quite as good in the league because the hashes are tight, but in lower levels of football with wider hashes, you really cause space issues. But the play is the play. And what I mean by that is we're still trying to put a 2-on-1 on safeties. So we call 4 verticals. They come out we're in 3x1. They're enclosed. We're putting a strain on that middle field player right there. 2-on-1. Can't be right. If they come out in open, which a lot of teams will, whatever it is, it's a lot easier, in my opinion, to read this boundary safety usually. You can see my old school hash drawings here. It's a lot easier to read this boundary safety, in my opinion, just because it's easier to throw, because this thing is a monster throw to the field, depending on what the hashes are. But again, you come up, let's say we're reading this safety in a open shell or split field safeties. Come up, he can't be right. He gets depth, we're going to rip this thing right underneath him. He hangs and our eyes are right here on this crosser. That free hangs right there. We pump in, go out, rip it down the field. It's a beautiful, awesome high red zone play, throwing a bunch of touchdowns off it. It's one of those things too where they just can't be right. If they're going to play us in zone coverage, we're going to be able to get them, as long as it's not quarters, we're going to be able to get them in some sort of 2-on-1. Now, if they do some sort of quarters kick where I'm talking about there's a safety over here, and this safety is hunting up number 3, well, then we got to be able to win a 1-on-1 to the boundary on a go route. But if this boundary safety in a split field coverage, middle field open is trying to play 2, he can't be right. He's either going to get so much depth that we're going to be able to put this thing right around the linebackers, or he's going to hang here trying to make this play and we're going to rip it outside. Love 3x1, 4 verticals, often called all go special or dancer. And then in the Detroit digit Mike Martz system, we had our 2-minute was all one word. It was either rocket, laser, set the protection and the formation, and score was just 9-9. And you can see these little dotted here are for the hots. in case they come hot, 2 on the back. You just come up, raise up, throw a hitch. Otherwise, again, really important with these landmarks, where you're running. Splits are really important. Spacing, 4 yards inside the numbers. But again, it's the same read. This is just how we got to it in 2 minutes. Quads, 10 personnel, a different way to get to it. Doesn't matter what you call it. It's 2x2, 4 verticals. It's 4 verticals, whether it's 2x2, 3x1, 3x2, however they get to it. 4 verticals is 4 verticals. Get to the landmarks, know what you're looking at pre-snap, confirm it post-snap. If it's blurry, get it down to the back. So now we're back to all go special. Again, all go special, West Coast world is 3x1, all go. 2x2 is just straight up all go. All go special, AGS, just means that it's out of a 3x1. So now we got 3 wide receivers to one side, 1 on the back side. Doesn't change the read. Again, I've already touched on it with the digit stuff, with the Detroit 999. But here you can see the exact same thing. Now we know who the bender is. Only one bender. They designate the number 3 receiver. Been on offenses that have the bender as the number 2 and the number 3. It's just whatever your offense is going to do, be able to take advantage of this split safety, whatever the safety is doing. So right here, it's drawn up against split safeties, middle field open. So what would he do right here, this tight end? Come up and take the middle. So you'd have a 2-on-1 right here. This safety can't be right. Just come up there, rip it. If it's blurry at all, get it down to the back. Again, that's why I love it. You can mix it up, different formations, take advantage of what they're going to do. If you've got a beast out here at X and you know that they're going to put 2 over 1 over here, you're going to have a great opportunity to rip a seam, especially with any sort of play fake at these linebackers, little flash fake right here, this little flash fake. And then you can tell this is super old school with the brown and West Coast world. The color is the backfield designation. So right here, this is brown, motion out of it all the way out. So this is a cool little a way to hide your kind of better receivers. You get your back and you motion him all the way out. So he's now running the outside vertical. So now you have your Z receiver or your flanker, usually your better receiver than a tailback, running the seam with your tight end running the bender. And now you've got your back running that outside go. So again, not sure what the designation here was with the 1 to 2, 1 to alert to 2. But again, to me, the play is the same. It's 4 verticals. You're getting to the same landmarks, same areas of the field you're trying to attack. These seam routes just depends on what the shell is. And then you got to know versus certain coverages, you got a much better play just throwing it to the back. Make sure that they can get out. I always used to remind my back in the backfield, like especially in gun, like, hey, get out. I need you. I want you on this play. Again, another example from the Green Bay Packers. They called it dancer. Again, it's just all go special. 4 verticals out of 3x1. We see the 3x1. Doesn't matter what you call the formation. They called it trips right. Zebra is 11 personnel. Again, we see the read. This is almost 4 different teams. It will be 5 by the end of the video. All run the same concept, 4 verticals, the same way. Somebody's a bender. They've got a middle field open, middle field close read. We've got alerts on the outside if we love the matchups. Otherwise, we're trying to get a 2-on-1 on a safety. If it's open, it's usually the 3 and the 1. If it's closed, it's going to be the 2 and the 3 wide receivers. And again, they used to designate this fullback burst. This is the same thing that I love. It's a little bit different than just running the straight up pop that a lot of teams run or option route by the back. They're telling the back, we want you up and coming underneath here because they love these things operated as clear routes. So it's almost like a slip screen coming back the other way with clear routes. Again, I really love that designation. The other reason I liked it was because the quarterback's eyes were almost always on these 2 players at some point in this play, and he just comes right into your vision. So it doesn't matter what you call it. They called it burst, but it's a nice way to designate as opposed to, you reading this safety over here, whatever, the middle field safety or a cloud safety over here, and all of a sudden on a pop option route, he comes out and goes over there. That's not really going to help you. So they just took it out of their hands and said, hey, come over here. We need you running underneath the 3x1, the dancer side. Now we're going to start getting into a few different wrinkles on what you can do. So it's not just 4 verticals. They're not always going to run just 4 straight lines. That's why this play is so dynamic, in my opinion. It's so adaptable. You still have, this is back in New Orleans, you still have the all go special, but now you have it with an option route. We just tagged it with an Okie, which was really just a speed out. You can call it whatever you want. And really, this can be whatever you want. So it's really, you get the perfect picture look over here that you want on the alert, take it. But if you don't, for whatever reason, we still have a great play in 4 verticals. And really, it's not 4 verticals, but it's still those 2 seams with one dynamic route that can change versus the shell. So take the 10 to 12 if you got it and you love it. Otherwise, if you don't, so say for some reason there's 2 over here, well, now we got a great shot to rip these seams down to the back if it's not clean. So just another way, a way to become a little bit more versatile, a little bit more adaptive to what you're seeing, taking advantage of your personnel and maybe what you're playing against. And this is just one example of many plays, but this is starting to kind of tippy-toe into why this is my favorite play, because it's so versatile. You can start tagging things and still have vertical threats down the field. The next option from New Orleans that they used to run all the time was all go special. So 3x1, but now we're going to tag comebacks on the outside. So very rarely will you throw these kind of to the field go routes, or at least I very rarely threw them. So instead of just having these receivers run essentially clears, once they know that we're only going to take shots with the seams, or we're calling it for the seams, is now we can have these things operate as comebacks. In New Orleans, we call them cats, but they're just comebacks. And in the league, they're at 20 yards usually. You know, if you're at lower levels of football, they can be anywhere from 15 to 12. But it's the same play. We're reading these seams based on the shell, and then whatever side we work. So say we're coming this inside player, it's middle field closed, and that free safety is hinting over here. Now all of a sudden we come over here, but we can't get there because something happens. The backers drop too much. Now we can go 1 to 2. Or if we work the other seam, we can go 1 to 2 with the comeback down to the back. So it just adds another layer into that read, becomes a little bit more versatile. Again, different ways to take advantage of what they're doing. If they're flying their corners out of there and we know we have no shot at a go over the top, well, then let's just run some comebacks, get a huge big chunk on an easy throw, as opposed to taking a shot with a go route or running our receiver into basically an outside clear. Now we just did all go special, or 3x1, 4 verticals. Now we can still do 2x2 and throw these comebacks. It's the same play. That's the thing. Now we're getting into the versatility of it. We still have a bender versus middle field open, middle field closed, still our normal seam rules. That's why we're calling it. But now if we hang on these seams for whatever reason too long, instead of coming straight down to the back, oftentimes these comebacks will just fly open, especially if you're playing a middle field closed team. Let's say we're playing a middle field closed zone team, and these corners are trying to play 2x1 inside 2 to 1. So they're getting depth, reading their eyes through 2. He's going vertical 2. Now he needs to get depth. All of a sudden, flat defenders can't get out that deep. So you have these huge chunks of open area right here. So it depends on who you're playing to be able to take advantage of what you tag with it. So it can be comebacks are often the easiest one, different depths depending on what level you're at. But again, 2x2, 3x1, all go special with a comeback. It doesn't matter what it is. It's 4 verticals with an outside comeback. The next way we're going to talk about it here, and this is from the Cincinnati Bengals. So now this is the 5th team that's going to run some variation of 4 verticals. Right here, they're running basically their version of comebacks. We used to call it hinges. So instead of running a comeback, which is to me is an outside turn over your outside shoulder, comeback, this is a go stem inside turn. And so it just creates a little bit different space, a little bit different look. I think you can sometimes threaten a corner a little bit more vertically when you open to the inside like this and fall out of it, especially guys. We had a bunch of quick twitch guys like Chris Henry, Ocho out there on the perimeter that can really separate from someone. It's a nice changeup, but it's the same play. You can see the seams are the same. Now this in Cincinnati, we had 2 benders, which to me makes a little bit more intuitive sense to take advantage of that space so the quarterback can pick either side depending on that open field look. You get that split field coverage where now we got 2 cloud guys. You know it's cloud. Now we can go inside out. These hinges usually adjust versus cloud. That's what you can see these dotted lines are here. So you get the same exact play versus a cloud look on the perimeter. Again, right here, we can see the landmarks change based on single high, 2 high, doesn't matter what you call it, closed. Right here, we're going to work the seams. Same read. That's why it's so beautiful. That's why you can go to any team and play this at any level. If it's open, we're going to do just what it looks like right there with the dotted lines. Inside, outside, down to the back. Look familiar? Fifth team, same way to run the exact same play. All right, this is the quarterback read right from the Cincinnati playbook. So that 2x2, 4 verticals with the hinges on the outside, we can see exactly what the read is. 2 deep, we're reading bender to hinge adjustment. That's that dotted line, makes that go route on the outside. So really it's just bender, inside, outside to check down. So that's middle field open, 2 deep. Middle field closed. Okay, we're going to take the seam based on the pre-snap read. That means the leverage, everything, what the free safety is doing to the inside seams, to the hinge away. And then we're going to get down to the check down. Beautiful here. Simple read, easy. Inside, outside, down to the back. Now we're really getting into my favorite variations. So this is how you really start taking advantage of a team, in my opinion. We keep the same core integrity. This is 4 verticals. Again, everything looks the same. We are flying off the line. Vertical, vertical, vertical stem. But now, instead of running 4 verticals, we have one guy run a sticks route. Get open. You know, every team runs these at different depths, but the essence is run behind the first down sticks and get open. You can go in, you can go out, you can run an out, you can run an in. Got all different options. You put your quick twitch guy there, got a knack for getting open, and it really, really opens everything up. So now we're calling it for the search. We called it a search in New Orleans. It's called a bunch of different things, but this is basically get open for a first down. Now, if for some reason, you know, he gets jacked by the linebacker or the nickel, then you got to make a decision. You can still read it. You know, we still got seams inside out on one side. We get the pitcher look, still get pitcher look opportunities for the alert on the deep outside go balls. But again, it's really just 1 to 2. Again, simplify it for the quarterbacks. This isn't junior high football. This is NFL football. 1 to 2. Clean, easy plays that are repeatable. You rep the heck out of these things. They are all 4 verticals. Just different variations of 4 verticals all go. Now, the next one out of this family is both search in New Orleans. So now we're getting really into my favorite plays. So now instead of running one guy on a no bend, you know, seam to nowhere on the last play, now we're going to have 2 guys run searches. So it looks like 4 verticals to the defense. Then all of a sudden you hit the brakes and find space, get open. You know, these landmarks change what level of football you're on, but the essence is get open, use your body to tell the quarterback where you're going to attack and get on this vertical seam and then come out of it and find some space and get a first down. And get open is the name of the game. And the quarterbacks can really use their eyes. If it's zone here, you can just absolutely kill underneath coverage here by looking this way, knowing that you're going to have all sorts of space out here. We're doing the exact same the other way, eyes this way, knowing that this is the guy you want to work and this is the defender that we want to work. And so there's all sorts of ways. This is when you start hearing about how you manipulate defenses with your eyes and your shoulders, the real nuance and graduate level stuff of playing quarterback. It's on routes like this where you trust your guy to get open, see space the same way that you see it playing quarterback. So again, it's 4 verticals, but now we're running these search concepts. Go get a first down. So you think, that's a good idea. I bet New Orleans maybe is the only team that does that. Nope. Packers, same thing. Again, all go. Aggie, okay, double dog is what they called their searches. They ran them at 16 yards. It is the exact same play. Again, 1 to 2. This wasn't some like freshman quarterback playing. This was Brett Favre's read. 1 to 2. Put it on him. Again, really simple. You get the exact outside look that you love, absolutely throw it. This red line, I know I've talked about on other videos, but I'll talk about it right here on the practice field. And a lot of NFL teams, they have a red line that runs 5 yards all the way down the field, the length of the field. And it's for these outside wide receivers to know if they beat somebody on a best release, inside or outside, they need to get on that red line and run to create this window or box for the quarterback to have a little bit of room. Now, you obviously want to drop it on their line, but you can drop it outside there, and that's where you see those little fade balls. I always hated balls throwing a great deep ball. The guy catches it and then goes out of bounds right at the sideline. Want those guys scoring, throwing it down the line. But again, Green Bay Packers, same play. Double dog, Aggie double dog. Call it whatever you want, vanilla milkshake. It's 4 verticals, 2x2, go get a first down, sticks. The read is the same, 1 to 2. Oh, well, you say that must be like a West Coast thing. Nope, digits. Detroit, Mike Martz, exact same play. Sticks. Okay, now he took it to another level that I like too. He turns it into stick routes by the inside guys, comebacks on the outside guys. So now it's 1 to 2 to back. Again, really simple. He actually looks like right here this week, we were going close, we were just throwing the comeback. In his world, we changed reads depending on who we were playing. Again, there it is. Really complicated read here. Middle field open, stick route, stare at one to throw the other. There it is, taking notes in the league. Closed, open. When you hear me talk about the reads, that's exactly what it is. So if it was closed, coming out, ripping the outside comeback, 5 routes in the digit system. If it was open, we're going to throw the stick when we actually prepare to throw it. If I want to throw it to the right, to the Y, I'm going to look this way for my drop, hitch up, and rip this thing right here, wherever he gets open. Could do the exact opposite if I wanted to get it to the F. That's it. Another way to do it in the digit system, again, 3x1. It's not always 2x2. Again, it doesn't matter. It's 4 verticals. This is a 4 verticals play, and no one is running vertical. We got a hitch, a 6 and a 5, double stick. The drag is talking to the check down. So it doesn't matter what you call it, what the formation is, what the personnel is. It's 2 stick routes, a comeback on the outside. So 1 to 2. Then if you love this matchup, throw this one over here. And depending on what the coverage is, it can be a whole bunch of different things. Stop, hinge, go. It varied from week to week. But again, would love this type of play. And again, I loved it right here with the drag or the burst back away from it, because you knew in cover 2, especially right here, you can see my notes. You stare at the Y. This Will back in the day in cover 2 would really stare at your eyes. He's going to hunt up this player right here. The Mike is going to get out of there in Tampa 2. He's going to hunt that up, stare at your eyes, and then this back comes, whoop, boop, right there. Throw it to him, punt return, left. But again, you think these are all different plays. These are all 4 verticals to me. It's either a seam or a sticks route. And you can tag all these things that make this thing so multiple and adaptive. You can just play a whole game doing this. So now we jump over to Cincinnati, and this play should look pretty familiar. Now we called it. Ron is the protection, hinge are the outside routes with the 9s, and the 5s are the 5 reads. So again, right here, read route, seam, these guys can come up. It's the exact same thing. It's just double sticks with a comeback, except we ran hinges in Cincinnati. So they got that hinge route, working it to the outside, but these are stick routes, get open plays by the 2 and the 3. Same play, 5th different NFL organization, same way to run 4 verticals with sticks. They run them with hinges on the outside. Most teams run them with comebacks. Put this in here just because, again, Cincinnati, they had the reads on the bottom of their plays. This, again, shows a little bit of the depth of what I'm talking about when I say the difference in how you read these closed, open, and then in open, it was really cover 4 or cover 2, quarters or cloud safeties. So let's just go through it right here. 3 deep or closed. They're going to read the Y read to the hinge to the H through. That was the number 3 coming across, the Y to the X, which was the 1 receiver back down to the back. Versus quarters, though, they're going to read the opposite hinge. That was the hinge out to the Z with the little stick by the inside, and then the Y read, then the hinge back here by the X. So now in quarters, we want to come out here to the field and rip that hinge to the F50, which was the choice route or the stick route to the back. Then in 2 deep, we're going to read the Y right here to the F to the back. So you got to be able, this is what playing quarterback is. You got to be able to tell the difference in these different shells, and 2 of the shells are the exact same. You got to tell the difference between a quarter safety and a cloud safety and a closed and an open safety. And you can get the read. Now the read changes on all that. That's why you got to be able to process information, recognize patterns in the shells really quickly, then obviously deliver the ball accurately and consistently. Again, another one of my favorite plays here. This is all go special back in New Orleans. So West Coast world, All go special means 3x1, 4 verticals. Cat tells the comebacks on the outside. And then E middle is just a different way to run sticks. It's a stick route, but now he can get open anywhere between the hashes. So it doesn't always have to be the number 2 receiver out here running the sticks. It can be the number 3 receiver. And this was a great Tampa 2 play back in the day because the Mike inevitably would be getting depth to take away that vertical. Sees number 3 hinge up. And now we got a shot to go right by him with one of our fast guys, the number 3 receiver, or the number 2 receiver here, usually the number 3 receiver on the team. So just a different way to take advantage of different coverages, especially you see in long yardage situations. But the read is the same. This is 4 verticals. It's 4 verticals just with a search route and 2 comebacks and built-in shot versus specific coverage of Tampa 2. And then one of my absolute favorite plays. We're still in the West Coast world. All go special tells us 3x1, 4 verticals. Cat tells us comeback on the outsides. And now we're going to run a nod instead of a sticks. So we put our best receiver, usually the flanker. It was definitely when we were in New Orleans with Joe Hollywood Horn, come in here and he runs a little stutter sticks and up the seam. So whether you call it a pump, stutter, go, it's just a little bit different, stick nod, whatever it is right here where he comes up, sticks it, and then can stay up the numbers, up the seam. Look at my drawing right there, up the numbers. Obviously, we're calling it to get the ball to the nod, any of these double moves. You can still use the comeback as kind of an alert. 2, if for whatever reason the nod's not there, you fall into the comeback. But again, what does this play look like? It's 4 verticals, 3x1, 4 verticals. But now, after we've run that third down sticks play a handful of times where he's come out and gotten open and done all sorts of different stuff here, you come up, nod him, and hit it right up the seam. It's a great play, big time, high red zone play, bunch of touchdowns thrown off this right in the seam. Another version of that search play that I like, and now we're getting into mixing a bunch of different concepts together. It's still all go special. So it's still 3x1, 4 verticals. And you can see the integrity of it right here. Up until this point over here for the 3 receivers, that's what it is. Now we got a sticks route. We got a comeback. We've got the middle field bender. And we've got a shallow. So now instead of the back coming out here and running a shallow, which is usually a great play, but if for whatever reason we don't anticipate the back getting out, or this back maybe isn't the guy we want touching the ball in the passing game, now let's run our X receiver, split end, outside wide receiver in the shallow. So now everything is in your field of vision. These type of plays are sweet. I loved them on many different levels. So all of these guys are live. They all know they got a chance to get a ball. You might get a bender, you might get the sticks route. Really, to me, this is alert. Yeah, there it is. Alert 1, 2, 3. Now they have it 1 to 2, but it's all right in your vision. I love these type of plays where just imagine if you're back here in the pocket, everything is happening right in your vision, right in your lane. Really easy to see, you can anticipate. Now I'm going to share how you tag just a handful of different routes to the core all go kind of scheme and how these were just kind of calls for us, especially when I was in New Orleans. We got a great wide receiver, Dante Stallworth at X, super fast. We still want to take a shot with the all go. So again, you see all go, it's 2x2. Now we got X cross, which is just an in, mid-range in. So we got a chance at the bender if we want it. Same integrity reads here for the all go. And then right here to the number 2, the little in coming right into your face. Again, I love these concepts where you're looking this way, you're looking bender, don't get the bender, here comes the in right in your face. It's just like a deeper check down. Love it. Again, similar type play to the cross that we just showed. This was what we called shellco, and all that meant was shallow cross. So right here, it's still all go, 2x2, all go. Same read, 1, but now instead of being that X cross, we saw the mid-range, now it's that shallow all the way across. And this really works, again, almost like one of those called checkdowns where it becomes punt return right if you get it down to the shallow. So up here, try to get the bender if you can. If it's clean, rip it. Otherwise, you got 2 clear routes, and you got what's probably one of your fastest guys coming across on a little runaway shallow. Turn this thing into punt return right. The option right here, when it says progression with an option, with my handwriting, was if you got the pitcher look, you can come back here and rip a corner. So again, just built-in options. Shallow with a corner, shellco. This was one of my favorite plays, and we saw it earlier it was all go special with an X Okie. Well, this is really just that same exact play, except now we have this shallow coming back the other way. So now everything's coming into your vision. You're alert right here. Your quarterback's coming back. You're looking right here, trying to get the alert. If it's not there, we got the benders. We got the verticals that we're always love versus middle field closed. And we've got that shallow coming right underneath it, like a built-in check down. So this was just a straight up one-word call. Oregon could get to it anytime. Gulf Coast stuff with Mike McCarthy. This is where I thought he was his best back in the day, innovating out of this 3x1 stuff. But the read is really simple. You love the one-on-one over here with the out, take it. Otherwise, we got all go special, the 2 and the 3 receivers with this shallow coming right into your vision. Again, you can see the theme and the pattern for some of these things when you start mix and matching concepts. It's everything is in your line of sight, built for the quarterback friendly vision. So right here, you're looking right down the middle of the field. You don't like that out. You get this shallow coming right underneath your face. I'd like to take one more opportunity to thank the sponsor of this video, Team Synced. It is an all-in-one platform used for scheduling, communication, class check-ins, just an all-in-one hub to help you run your sports program. Please check them out. Tell them that the QB School sent you. The next one built off that same exact family, we call Delaware. And so again, this is just all go special. 3x1, 4 verticals. So everything is the same. The 3 is the same. The 1 to the backside is the same, except now this was our 2-man play. So we wanted to get a 2-man play. We got a deep out. We come up here. Looks like 3 verticals over here to this side right here with the number 2 route. Then he runs a deep speed out. And then we've got the same Oregon shallow down here. So we run Oregon a few times. They're starting to sit on it, getting it to the shallow. Now we take advantage of all this space out here. We get a corner who wants to chase our Z right here, and it creates this huge opportunity. Same thing, same idea if you're running like an inside fade. There's just all this space if the corner is going to run with the number 1. And oftentimes in 3x1, you'll see these guys lock these guys up. If they're going to lock you up like this, the outside 1 wide receiver and run with this shallow, you got to have ways to take advantage of this space on the outside. And this was a great 2-man beater for us. And anytime we got a 1 chaser corner out there, man-to-man. Another play that I really liked, the different variation out of all go special, was Tampa in New Orleans, we called it. And this was a Tampa 2 beater. Shocker, right? We come out here, we got the number 3 vertical running the all go special. We've got that same shallow coming from the outside. Delaware, he came out and ran that out. This time he's going to come in and run an in. So really what we're trying to do is take advantage of this Mike in Tampa 2. This Mike is going to run with the vertical at number 3. We're going to have these linebackers come down and dig on this shallow, and there's going to be this huge vacated hole for this number 2 receiver to come in here right into the middle of the field. So really, you can think about it right here. This is just dagger. It really is just dagger, just condensed. Normally dagger's on the outside. Now it's condensed in, and we're really running it off the Mike as the safety in Tampa 2. Just another cool variation. You see why this 4 vertical is one of my favorite things. You can do so many different things out of it just with certain tags, but the essence, the bones of it, the structure, the foundation is vertical. We're pushing down the field. We are rolling, stepping on toes, getting deep fast. Another variation that I love that we ran in New Orleans, we call Vikings cross, but really it's just double in. And I think we put it in versus the Vikings. That's why I got the name of it, but it's just 2 deep in routes. But again, it's all go special. It's 3x1. 4 verticals. 2 right here, that's what it is. Everything looks the same to the defense. Then we snap it off, go, you read this thing, you alert the bender, you go 1 to 2 to 3 with the back on the swing, a learned swing. I would have probably liked it, just a little shoot out here like this, a little easier. Doesn't matter, it's 1 to 2 to 3, again, paying attention here, we got a little flash fake to take advantage of the alert bender if you like it, but again, everything is in your vision. If you're a quarterback, there's no full field scanning stuff, left to right, right to left. It's drop back, play fake, flash, 5, 1, 2, 3. Simple, easy, clean, but an all building off 4 verticals. Finally, I'm going to share what I think is the air raid 6 play, which is really how I think they do probably all go a little bit better than anybody else. I don't run it like this, even at the high school level. You can see all these different options, and I don't pretend to be an air raid specialist, but the essence of this thing is you can call this thing, you can throw this thing anywhere you want. Now, there's all sorts of different techniques that they use to read when they break off, when they go in, when they pull up, when you throw this thing. But I remember, I want to say it was Mike Leach, Texas Tech versus Texas. And that play that Crabtree caught that final play for a big time win. I think they called 6, and they called this play 6 just because I think it's going to get 6. It's not very scientific. But this idea that they called it back to back to back to back, and there's just so many different variations. I've actually heard rumors that some high school coaches will call this all day in 7-on-7. And it just never looks the same because you can run and kind of hook these things up. It's basically like running all go with sticks as an option, sticks with comebacks as an option. To me, that's what it is. Now, I'm sure it's more complicated than that, and they've got rules about technique and leverage. But to me, it's just all go, sticks, comeback, with the variation by the wide receiver can do it whenever they want. If they can't get over the top, pull it up. And the quarterback, and they just rep it so often that they get good at being able to feel space. But to me, this is just air raid 4 verticals. My absolute favorite concept, 4 verts, so many different ways to run it, so multiple, so adaptive. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Again, I appreciate the support for the channel, and I will see you next time.